Hola, hola, hola y bienvenidos, damas y caballeros, a otro episodio de Carolina Language Solutions presenting episodio 3, using the present tense to talk about the past. This is language hack numero 3 coming at you live and direct. We've already started off with learning to use the preterite tense. We talked about conjugating, right? And then in our second episode, we talked about being able to use a formula, the ir a plus infinitive, in episode 2. Episode 1 was more so just using tag words to change the present tense to the future, right? So this is language hack number 3. We're talking about being able to use the present tense to talk about the past. So make sure you stick around to the end of the video so that you can get some practice on your own, as well as the recap to make sure you fully understand what it is that we're talking about. Soy Profe Don Omar, damas y caballeros. I am Omar, and I'm here to jump into this with you. And make sure you take a look at our social media platform information down here at the bottom. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to Profe Don Omar Habla Conmigo TV. Ladies and gentlemen, it helps us to get inside and do our thing in the algorithm. Without further ado, damas y caballeros, vamos a empezar. Aquí tenemos la palabra de hoy. We've got the word of the day. The word of today is más temprano. Más temprano. Say that with you. Say that one more time. Más temprano. Right? ¿Y qué significa más temprano in English? Right? What does it mean? Earlier. Right? Another tag word that we'll be able to use here today. We're going to call it our salsa picante, a little hot sauce here to spice up our sentences, and I'll show you how we're using it. If you paid attention to episode 1, you know how to use tag words. So if you haven't, I always suggest going back and taking a look at that. All right, so what are we talking about today? We're talking about the past. We're talking about more specifically the immediate past, right? The immediate past, what is it? I know you want to know, right? So let's take a look. The immediate past is being able to talk about what someone just did, okay? What someone just did. Let's get some examples here. I just told you, right? There's an example there. Otro ejemplos in English. We've got some, I just spoke to my friend. I just ate a hamburger. I just arrived at home, all right? So, aquí tenemos otra fórmula. We've got another formula that you need. I like using formulas. It helps to give us structure, right? And some of us need structure to understand how to utilize what it is that we're doing. And if you're any good at math, this is pretty much the same thing. All right, it's just with the words. So we've got acabar, which gives you that just format. All right. Then we're going to use the word de. All right. It's going to be followed there. And then we are using the palabra de acción o infinitivo o verbo, right? The infinitive, the action word, the verb. All right, so that's our formula. Make sure you pause it, jot it down. Make sure you know how to use it as we get ready to jump into applying the formula to this concept. Before we get into it, though, we've got to remember how to conjugate, right? So remember in the episode about conjugating, we gave you the 3 steps to conjugating a verb. And you've got to remember, we conjugate verbs to make sure the subject and verb agree, right? So that is the purpose of conjugating. We do it in English. You just never really gave a word for it to us in school, right? So let's take a look at it. We identify the verb, right? We drop that AR ending to be left with the stem. There we go. AR, ER, IR verb. Boom, we found out it's an AR verb. We drop the AR, right? The third one says add correct ending that matches the subject. So let's say our subject is nosotros, all right? Nosotros or nosotras. If you remember from our episode there about subject pronouns, you remember that nosotros and nosotras would be we, right? So now, even if we're not talking about pronouns, what if I want to say, okay, what if it's not we? What if I want to name names? Then, of course, it would be like Johnny and I, right? Or Jose y yo in Espanol. That would constitute as we. It might say las muchachas y yo, right? The girls and I. We are giving the concept of we're just using the proper nouns as names, okay? So there we have our stem. We know that nosotros is our subject. And once again, we now have our subject-verb agreement, bailamos, all right? So got to remember that as we go into las conjugaciones del verbo, de acabar. All right, so recuerda las terminaciones. Do you remember the endings for AR verbs? If not, let's take a look right here. We've got the yo form. You're going to take off that AR and we're going to add O to the end of the verb, right, to the stem. We've got tú and as, él, ella, usted, a, nosotros, nosotras, amos, and then ellos, ellas, ustedes, han, right? Those are the endings, las terminaciones, all right? All right, ahora vamos a conjugar el verbo acabar de, all right? So here we go. Yo, take off the AR, right, of acabar. We're going to take off the AR and we're going to have acabo, acabas, acaba, acabamos, acaban. Say those to yourself for a second there. And I'll repeat it. Acabo, acabas, acaba, acabamos, acaban, right? And you can see the corresponding subject, nuestros sujetos aquí, okay? In English, just wanted to give this to you if you need it. Really don't. You can pause it, take a look at it if you need to, but I'm going to keep moving. All right, so make it make sense. This is where we are in the class today. So aquí tenemos un sujeto, un pronombre, right? We got a pronoun, our subject. We've got acabar de. We've got to make our verb agree to our subject, subject-verb agreement, right? So aquí tenemos yo, acabo de. Y después tenemos un infinitivo. So afterwards, we have our infinitive, our action word, our basic form of the verb, right? To do something, right? So here we have yo acabo de comer, right? I just ate. I took it a little further, added a little spice to it at the end. Yo acabo de comer unas papas fritas. If you don't know what papas fritas are, ladies and gentlemen, you've got to find that out. It is my kryptonite, all right? So yo acabo de comer unas papas fritas. All right, I'm going to leave that mystery word there for you if you don't know what it is. But once you find out, maybe you're a fan like me. Okay. All right, ahora vamos a practicar aquí. All right, so let's practice. We've got tú leer en el libro. Now, notice here, I left off the acabar de. You just see leer en el libro. All right, but it's what we want to do, right? We want to be able to say, I just, and then whatever it is that you did, okay? So you're going to incorporate that part. So give it, pause the video here if you need to. I, meanwhile, am going to go ahead and give the answer here. All right, so tú acabas de leer el libro, right? You just read the book, and we can tag it with our word of the day, la palabra de hoy. We can say tú acabas de leer el libro más temprano, right? You just read the book earlier, all right? Let's go to the next one. Los amigos comprar una pizza. All right. Los amigos acaban de comprar una pizza. Tagged it at the end with what I ate, right? But we could definitely say los amigos acaban de comprar una pizza. We can definitely say it. We can say los amigos acaban de comprar una pizza más temprano. You can just keep tagging it, whatever you want to do, right? It's your world, it's your language. You are the master of your language here. So the friends just bought a pizza, right? Mi hermano y yo comer pizza. And then we got our tag word here for us. All right, so let's take a look. Mi hermano y yo acabamos de comer pizza más temprano. Same thing. All right. We just kind of utilize what we had earlier. And if you are kind of figuring this out now, you would say my brother and I, we just ate pizza earlier, right? All right, so here's the wrap up. All right, so using the present tense to talk about the past, right? First thing we want to know is, do you remember, have you taken down the notes for las conjugaciones del verbo acabar, right? Do you know those in el presente? All right, so what is the formula to talk about the immediate past, right? What is that formula I gave you? You have to set it up like that every time. You're going to use your present tense conjugations of the verb acabar. You're going to have the word de come after it, right? And then to finish it off, we're going to have a basic form of a verb, an infinitive. So make sure you have that as well. All right, damas y caballeros, we have reached the end. Once again, this was using the present tense to talk about the past language, hack numero tres. All right, make sure you continue to follow us on our social media platforms and give a like, share, and subscribe to this channel right here on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen, as we continue to bring you the brand new hotness with Spanish with a twist. That's what we're doing here. Soy Profe Don Omar. Nos vemos.